Gym rats can't fight. And this was kind of one of those like stir up type of a post. But it does beg the question, how far does lifting weights get you in
It does beg that question.
in an untrained situation or against somebody who's actually trained?
It does beg that question. Now, the reason why it stirs so much controversy is because it's so general. Because,
it is, yeah.
Because obviously the ones that are going to say what the hell are the gym rats that train also. That,
Right.
You know, because there's plenty of those. And any general, statement like that is going to stir up a bunch of what the hell. Because the truth is, I'll find you a gym rat that can whoop all of our ass.
Yeah. With no training.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe, right? Because of the giant dude with some athleticism or something.
There was the
college football player gym rat.
I believe it was the Mountain went against Dustin Poirier in just like a friendly grappling match, and he was just laying on Poirier, and like he was swallowed.
Really?
And Poirier was swallowed underneath him. It was like, I can't get out of this.
Who's the Mountain now?
He was from Game of Thrones, the giant dude.
Okay, I never watched Game of Thrones.
He's like world's strongest.
How big
man
is
guy.
he? How
He's
big
huge.
is he?
He's like 7 foot. I think his name is Bjorn. He's like 7 foot and just wide as a tank, and just
see
swallowed.
that guy that big. If he's got any athleticism at all,
Yeah.
you're in bad shape, man.
Yeah.
Give them a black belt in the world. Needs to,
In the world, yeah.
the world needs to look out.
It's funny. There was a lot of those, but there's a lot of people. And there was one comment that kind of stuck out, and I know the guy, so it stung a little deeper too. Is he was saying, "Well, I feel like I can knock out most guys," and he doesn't train. Just does.
Well, the
gym
thing is,
stuff.
he probably possesses the power to knock out most guys.
Right.
Probably possesses the power to knock out most of the population of the earth if he got a clean shot on their chin. He's not wrong.
Right.
And that's the thing about these guys that are saying that, even with no training. They're not wrong, man. Put your chin out there and let them haul back and crack you when you're going to go to sleep, right? But that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And the other thing that nobody ever factors in is cardio. And cardio is your worst enemy. Okay, you would rather be jumped by guys and have a fresh tank than be in a war with somebody and be done. No cardio. Oh God, it's your worst enemy. And that's what gym rats don't understand for the most part. I think in general is that the cardio is a huge factor. You do have the power to knock somebody out. You do, but you've also got about 35 seconds of cardio max in your gas tank, and you don't realize that. You think you got more, and that doesn't factor in for heart, because heart kicks in, and guys have big hearts, and big hearts kind of looks like good cardio. Yeah, it does. If a guy has a big heart, it could come across as good cardio, but it's not. He's dying, and he's just got a big heart, and even that can't last you too long, man. Like. Yeah, you have to train to know how to actually fight. Now, you pit gym rats against somebody who doesn't train, that also doesn't work out, and then you can start to say, okay, that begs the question, how much does muscle help?
And somebody had said that, and I said, well, that's a pretty low bar.
It is a low bar. Yeah, it is a low bar. But then again,
any training is better than no training.
But we also use that same low bar all the time.
Yeah.
I'm always referring to untrained people, right? Like against the untrained person, X, Y, and Z, whatever, right? Like, so we refer to that bar a lot. It is a low bar, untrained people that also don't work out, right? Because they got to go with that too. They got to say, well, no, untrained people that don't work out, we got them. Of course you do. You're way stronger. You're in better shape than that guy. Your 35 seconds of cardio is way better than his 12.
Yeah.
So,
for sure. Balance is another thing that I would say that people underestimate, because if you don't know how to stay on your feet, you're not going to stay on your feet. And it can be a foot sweep. It can be just you stumbling back. And if we're looking at self-defense situations, there could be things all over the place that you trip over as you start walking back or forward.
They just don't understand the techniques, too. It's like the problem is that they watch UFC. Yeah. And it does appear that strength is a huge factor, because it's not a small factor. It is a big factor. If you're the weakest guy, like, you're not going to do well even with great technique. Like, you need to have some strength, right? But it looks, when you're watching it, as though there's more strength involved than there is. It really does. So, you get that problem of, like, I get the problem watching good tennis players play tennis. I'm like, I could do that.
a racket.
I think I could do that. Right? It's like, no, they're just making it look easy, dude. You couldn't do that, right? Like,
on your point of it looks like they're using a whole lot of power. We were actually talking about that in our kickboxing classes this week, because if you are tight and you're flexing every single thing on every punch, yeah, you're going to gas out, but you're also going to be super slow. The other piece that I was talking about in the jiu-jitsu classes is a lot of times in jiu-jitsu you're going to be tight with one part of your body and then loose and flowy with the other. So like if you're trying to set up a triangle, that left leg is like locked in as the right leg comes over, but in order to get the length to actually lock onto the ankle, you have to be pretty loose on that right hip. So your left hip is tight, hanging on to them, keeping the posture broken. That right leg has to hip out and just kind of flow over the top of it, and then you get your squeeze going. But it's a very similar thing. It's like you have to learn how to control the power. One easy example is elbows. So if you guys make a tight fist and then you bring your elbow forward, you're only going to go so far. But if you keep your hand and your arm relaxed and then you bring your elbow around, you'll go way further with that elbow. So you can actually gain about 6 inches of reach just by relaxing and throwing that through. And these are little things, sound like me. Yeah. These are little things that people don't realize until you train.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's the mastering of your body and stuff like that. Yeah, they don't get that, and it blows your cardio and it blows everything, flexing your whole body when you don't need to. Yeah. Absolutely, man.
And I think that's something that we all kind of struggle with on our path through, like, for years, is like learning how to breathe. And like, because it's easy when you're going against somebody who's not as good as you. I was like, oh, I'll chill, I'll breathe and everything. But when somebody's making you run and work, it's hard to think about everything and you're breathing. My cardio is way better when I'm rolling with somebody that I can beat than it is when I'm getting beat. Oh my gosh. So I'm constantly trying to think about my breathing when I'm starting to get run down. Yeah.